Good evening, everyone. Happy New Year, and welcome to another edition of the Gray Area that is simulcasting on the Black Man Unfiltered Network and the Sparta HQ Network. I am Mr. Bennett, joined by my partner, as always,
This is Sparta!
the ghost of Sparta, aka Peter, aka Panagiotis. Yasu, my brother, how you doing?
Another day, another year, right? Like they
I
say.
hear you. I hear you. Well, at least you got through it in one piece, and we're going to be talking about some of that. Obviously, talking about some of that tonight. But we thank you guys for joining us for another edition of the Gray Area on this Sunday, this first broadcast of the year. We had certainly a year-end wrap-up at the end of last week, and certainly it's our privilege to certainly be here to with you tonight in 2025, and looking forward to an exciting year. We got a big lineup of shows coming up, and some heavy hitter guests that are going to be coming in. So very excited for what the new year is going to be bringing, and certainly in this space. We asked as you come in tonight, make sure you hit the like button as you come in tonight, and certainly support the channel not only here but also hop on over to the Sparta HQ Network, drop a like in that there as well, so that helps to support that algorithm. And certainly as we go on tonight, consider dropping a Cash App, certainly to the Black Man Unfiltered Network, as well as for our individual platforms as well. We appreciate the support that you gave us. And as usual, again, can tell you, I think we missed you last week, but certainly Happy New Year to you. And, so it's good to, thank you for always supporting us and being with us, certainly as we've endeavored on this journey to bring you, again, substantive content, the things to get you thinking and whatnot. Braxton Snakes, the Snake Fiend, again, salute to you, my brother. Thank you for being with us tonight. Good to have you here. Can tell you, Steelers are just literally limping into the playoffs. So I'm sort of staying off the airways. I'm trying to maintain a positive attitude here. So so I don't talk about the Steelers too much, but we're just good to be with you guys tonight. But how's it going otherwise, Pete? How's how's life? How things are treating you?
Not bad, actually. This is a subject that I hold off to talk about for a while because I wasn't really ready to talk about it to now.
Mm-hmm.
You know about it. Black David knows about it, and some other people in our both networks know about it. I let who needs to know in about this because this is something that happens very, very serious. November.
Indeed. It's like one of those things where because I've been up to your place again, we've had the privilege of certainly meeting on multiple occasions. I came up to your area, so I saw kind of like the area that you live in. Looks like a fairly quiet neighborhood that you live in. This isn't the hood or whatever, but we at the same time you got to be mindful that anything can go off at any time. You think you may be safe in a certain place or whatnot, and sometimes you may witness things that that you're not expecting, and it can certainly shake up your worldview in terms of the safety of the area that you're in, and so those are things that we never want to see happen to people or whatnot. But I'm not going to talk too much tonight. I'll just certainly ask questions as said as you describe your scenario. But you go in and talk about, so again, November 30th. So again, closing out the year. Everything's kind of going the way it needs to go, and at the year's end, and some things happen. So I'll let you take it away and describe what happened that night.
Was a normal Saturday 30, a day after my birthday. It was a regular day. Didn't think expected about it. I went to work, did my thing, came home, walked Alex. Normal fucking day so far.
Mm-hmm.
So me and mother were talking about it was getting a little time for showtime for my show, the Operation Hangout.
Mm-hmm.
That you or David are there, and so you see my place. I can literally walk across the parking lot, and Wawa's right there.
Yep.
I think it's maybe 10 feet, if that.
Yeah. I literally, when I pulled up to your house, I pulled up in your parking lot. The Wawa was like right back of me. So again, very very convenient, to say the least.
Yeah. And expensive at the same time because you want to cook.
You can't get everything. You can't get convenience and cost effectiveness.
So now it goes like it's something for something simple. So I ended up getting. I ordered a soup for her. I think I ordered a sandwich for myself. Nothing crazy. And she wanted me to pick up some bread for her breakfast the next day. I'm like, that's around whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in line. I know everybody in there. I mean, I know the cashier, I know the managers, I know everybody because they know who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And, hey, Pete, what's going on? Nothing. We getting today. I usually, when I put my order, they want to know what I'm getting so they can start working because they know I order my food, get them like a drink, for example, Mountain Dew or whatever, coffee, whatever, and I'll pay. So by the time I do that, my food's already ready. So I'm in line. when you first walk into the store, on the right hand side is the chip area, ATM,
Right.
bathroom,
Right. Yep.
and like grab and go,
Yeah.
like wraps and so on. So I see a kid just hanging out there. For some reason, something didn't feel right in my gut that day.
Mhm.
And I don't know why. I see these two kids come in, dark skinned kids come in, and they go right to him. I'm like, okay, part of me saying they're just fucking around with him and nothing's gonna. I always see kids because the high school is across the street from my house. Kids are in and out just joking. Oh, he got palm, dude, and they're just joking around, kind of thing. This kid got in his face, nose to nose. You have a problem now. He went to him. I heard that like I'm talking to you. Next minute I know they're swinging. Like 1 minute it was two people
in the Wawa store.
In the store. This happened in the store. So first it was two people, then it was 9 against 2. I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm like, the manager's screaming, like, call the cops. I'm like, I'm literally in shock and self-defense mode at the same time. So I start slowly, not walking backwards, but kind of sliding my feet very slowly. So as the fight was, here's the chips here, here's the middle, the grab and goes. It went around there. Two kids got up, square off, and go at it. So everybody's now running behind me and duck under their coffee stand. And as I'm going backwards, again, I'm in self-defense mode. I'm not going to turn my back. That's the first thing you don't ever want to do in self-defense purposes. So I'm backing up. Like, I think back. I only had a loaf of bread in my hand. I'm like, what the fuck am I going to do with a loaf of bread? I'm thinking to myself. So I'm backing up. As I'm backing up, I hear, ping! It sounded like a firework went off. I stopped. I froze. My mind went, that's a fucking gun went off in the store. I looked at everybody. I look at the kitchen. Again, kitchen's my world. I know there's always an exit through that fucking kitchen. It has to be for fire reasons. I looked at everybody like, get the fuck out. I didn't hesitate. I just said, get the fuck out. The manager, one of the managers, I know her very well. Lonnie, I grab her. I go, and I pushed her. So as I pushed her, I was going through the kitchen. The first reaction, I go for my phone. As I'm halfway through the kitchen, I'm already dialing 911. I'm on the phone with them. And I'm explaining to the lady, somebody just got shot. She goes to me, can you see the victim? I'm like, actually, shit, the patient, excuse me, the patient. I go, no, I cannot see the patient because I'm out fucking side. Can you go inside and find out he's dead or alive? I'm like, no, I'm not going back in there. And she goes, well, we need to know, can you tell me if the male or female? I'm like, you're fucking kidding me at this point. I'm like, I'm arguing with her for like 5-10 minutes. And to be honest, I can't remember every last thing I said to her, but I was arguing with her. She goes, sir, you need to calm down. I just saw a gunshot go off, probably less than 5 feet from me. I hear gunshots go off, but this was different, Paul. Completely different I ever experienced in my life. I've heard gunshots go off. I heard, like, living in the projects in New York, I heard people getting shot before. But this was different because I was so close to it. It was so close, I could have probably woke up and touched the person. That's how close I was. Yeah. When I
you were kind of in range.
Oh yeah, I was target range completely. Yeah. They would have, if they could have turned around and started, turkey shooting my ass and anybody else, I would have had nowhere to defend myself. And now we're probably not even having a conversation about this. You're probably having a conversation in my memory. That's how serious it got. Wow. So once I get off the phone, the manager's screaming, I'm calling the cops. Well, she's freaking out. Everybody's crying at that point. I told her, listen, calm down. It's the only thing she did. She was just nervous, scared. She gives me a hug, please. Thank you. I told her cops are on the way. Now my reaction is trying to calm every single person down. So I go from one person to the next person. I went to the next person. I go, you need to take a deep breath. I'm like, I told her they have the cigarettes. Light a cigarette. Go sit down. Going back and forth is not going to help the situation now. This whole time I'm checking the back door. I don't know if these guys are going to come around and starts shooting at us right now. So I need to check that door. The gate, the back gate is right there. I'm like, now I got to check that gate too. I'm in the middle ground, and the other bound is straight down to my parking lot. So I need to keep all three. I realized that one lady, the cashier, is hyperventilating. So I get on my knees at this point. And I go, look at me. You need to calm down. Take a deep breath. Out and in. My own martial art.
So they're bent down. They're behind the counter, and I guess they're on the.
We're outside now. We're outside. Out back.
Everyone's outside. Okay.
I got everybody outside. I tell her take a deep breath, in and out, in and out. I finally got to calm down. So as I'm doing this, corner of my eye sees everybody's looking around the gate and see what's going on. I'm like, no. That is a bad fucking idea. I screamed at her, get the fuck away from the gate. These guys have a gun. They see you. You're a witness. Guess who's getting taken out? You. So I realized as I'm saying that, one of my old coworkers there, when I worked for one of the hospitals, I go, Kathy? She goes, yeah. She comes up and hugs me, and she just held me for like 5-10 minutes. So I was just here with my granddaughter and her boyfriend just buying food. She didn't seem like she was phased, to be honest with you, like everybody else. She was like mellow. And I hear some screaming in there. To this day, I could not clearly identify exactly what they're said. The next part, I'm not gonna repeat exact words what is said. I heard one guy screaming, and I do apologize. So if anybody want to mute this part, please do, because it's a little vocal. He says, N word, run, N word, run. Again, I don't want to repeat that because I don't like that word. And then I hear a car go off. My body slowed everything very slow. It felt I was in there for 45 minutes to an hour, maybe 3 hours. My heart was racing. I had a knot right here. I never had ever felt a knot in my stomach like that. I was like, what the fuck is that feeling? The whole screaming before they ran off, I thought the cops were already there and already on site, gun pointed. They got him already. But it wasn't. They were arguing. Like, from my understanding, if I had to really guess, they're probably arguing like, why did you shoot the goddamn kid? Now, this became a jump in. It could have been just a simple assault charges to a murder scene. And it did. So as the car peels off, when I got interviewed, the cops, they said it was like 3 minutes. 2 minutes when they left, then it was another minute the cops show up. As I look over out to the gate, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cops flying in there. Next man I know, the cops are there. That's where I felt comfortable leaving the back of the store. So I was so stressed out. One of my neighbors was freaking out. She's, I believe her son, I'm not sure. But I don't talk to him that much. He hands me a cigarette, like, dude, you need to calm down too. I'm like, at that point, I was trying to help everybody. Like, the last thing I was thinking about myself. And the old lady who I was helping, she goes, like, don't worry about paying the bread. Just take it home with you. It's on us. You saved everybody's life. I'm like, I'm not fucking stealing fucking bread. I left it right there. Like, fuck that. So I come around. The senior officer comes down. He goes, I need everybody to leave right now who's not involved. Who's involved? I raised my hand. Like, officer, I was the one who called you guys. I want to speak to you first. I went, okay. As that has happening, they're working on this kid. This kid was 17 years old. Still in high school. They're working on him. Next minute, I see the body come out. They had a CPR machine on him. Find out later through some of my friends in the medical field, a Pacific person, she told me when they put that machine on you, you're pretty much dead. They're trying to keep you alive to see if they can do anything at the ER at the hospital. The ladies, like the older ladies, start crying. Oh my God, I don't think he's gonna make it. He's gonna die. And first thing I did is start praying. Started doing my cross. Said a little prayer. Hopefully he makes it. Then the cops come up and me. He goes, "Let me speak to you first, please." And I come over here. He goes, "Actually, let's go over to this patrol car. I don't know if it was his or not. Actually, I'm sorry. Before he did, he came up to me. He goes, "Let me get your information really fast. I'll talk to you one more in a couple minutes." He goes, "I'm trying to I apologize. I'm trying to get everything back."
I got you. And mind you, when you first broke this to us, some of the stuff you couldn't share because again you were talking to the cops. And I think you had to go back later and talk to some more whatnot. So a lot of the stuff you couldn't share because because it was so fresh and everything. So we're talking about this because he has clearance to do so. Like things have been done. It's like you're not going to be held or anything. So we're not going to be violating any kind of potential court case or anything that may come down the line. He's free at this point at liberty to talk about these things, but early on when these things happen, he kind of mentioned it, but he couldn't really go into a lot of detail on it.
I mentioned to you who needed to know, but I couldn't go into too much details to everybody. Right. When I spoke to the cops that Monday following, I asked, "Can I talk about it?" He goes, "I prefer you not to, but I can't keep you against it because you're a witness, but you're not like immediately involved. I didn't go hands on with them. I called faces, but nothing crazy about that."
Yeah.
So as I talk to the cops, like at this point, I'm feeling this hours has passed. I'm looking at my watch, shit, and I'm like, oh fuck, I forgot my watch at home. I always keep my Apple Watch on me. The only time I don't have it is when I'm home. So like I said, I worked Alex. I came home, washed my hands. I usually take my strip my band off and my watch. Those are two things I always like my DOCs. What I take with me is I always have a lighter on me.
Right.
I have my knife on me at all times. Not for self-defense, it's for work reasons. Open a box, something like that.
Right.
And, when I came home, I put everything upstairs next to my dresser, like I always do. So I didn't have that on me. So I didn't check my phone. And I think hours have passed this morning. Like, shit, my mom. She's probably fucking having a heart attack.
Where's my soup? Where's my soup?
Yeah. And I go to the cop, like, I have my mother who has cancer. I need to go check up on her. She goes, that's fine. He goes, give me your information first. I carry my first and last name, carry my cell phone. I'll be right back. I literally live right behind. He goes, I trust you. He goes, I went there. I talked to my mom, like, Mom, I'm okay. She's freaking out at this point. Like, what the fuck happening? Like, I'm panicking and making sure she's okay. But she didn't even realize anything. She had her big Beats earbuds on, watching TV, like, and she's vaping away. I'm like, Alex is like happy to see me. I'm like, I'm okay. Now she realized she's freaking like, I literally opened my check. I am not shot. I am okay. Look, I am fine. But the cops need to talk to me. This kid got shot. I told her the brief story really fast. So I ran back out there. Mind this point is at night now. And this is when we had the last cold breeze coming in. I'm freezing my goddamn dick off at this point. I'm like, you can chop it up and put it in a drink and have a cocktail at that point. That's how cold it was. So immediately I'm start texting people and like, I don't know why I'm asking, hey, is everybody okay? Hey, are you okay? And like people are like, what the fuck is going on, Pete? Like, and I'm sort of like, I just heard a murder. Like, yeah, we're at home. Like, we're no one near you. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah, it like I said, it doesn't seem like the type of place where something like that would go down. Or certainly not that instantly everything would just pop off that fast. It doesn't seem like that kind of environment. So in the area, things have happened down in Main Street. People are drunk and shot over a check kind of thing. Right. Like about 8 years ago, a pizza delivery guy got shot at the university. Okay, things do happen. I'm not saying they don't, but this is not a everyday thing, if that makes sense. Right. Yep.
It's a rare case.
Like I said, it's the area. Like I said, it's just it's a PA, Eastern PA suburb. I mean, nothing that you would, see that. And I was driving through there, kind of going up there, where I'm at. I'm up 78 West and whatnot, just kind of driving through. It's like, man, this is like a dead area to live in. I mean, people live up here because you want to be safe. I'm literally thinking that to myself as I'm coming to your place. That this is kind of a very quiet place. I don't know if this was to be to me. It's too quiet.
Believe it or not,
that was my initial thought when I was coming up.
It's more city area than ever. Like what I used to live in Mount Pocono. When I lived up there, that was the boonies actually. Now it has to build it up, but back then that was the boonies. So I'm looking around, so I went back. Now the cops come up to me again. He goes, "I need to speak to you." All right. Went to his patrol car, like I said originally. So he says, asking, like, what do you see? So I broke the story down, blah, 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 blah. The only thing I misspoke, and I apologize afterwards, the next, when I met up with the detective, I said 2 gunshots, but it was actually one. Again, my adrenaline was kicking in. I was trying to relapse everything. And I assume the cops knew, my adrenaline and everything that happened is traumatic experience to go through. So he asked me a lot of questions, like questions I never expected ever in my life to fucking answer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what kind of gun do you think he had? What the person looks like? This, that. I'm like, I'm trying to spit the words out. I'm freezing my ass off.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I finished. I asked him a couple questions myself, like, am I going to be in court or am I doing this? He goes, it's too soon to tell you. It's an open investigation. I can only answer what I can answer you.
Mm-hmm.
So I get back home. I didn't even get my fucking food. That's the funny part.
Yeah, right.
Like, at least I get my food. So as we're waiting there, and like, he told me, give me a few more minutes and I'll let you go. And because, I know you need to go home and stuff like that. So people are trying to go to Wawa still. They don't realize cops are like, lock up the area. So, we're telling them, like, the one of the general managers goes, listen, we're closed. You need to leave the premises. The cops are screaming. Like, so this one girl goes, oh, you're cute. Can I get your number? I'm like, the lady goes, like, first of all, I don't swing that way. And B, you really are asking the wrong time at the wrong place. This is a serious situation we're dealing with. You're going to ask me for my fucking number? I'm like, seriously, like, people don't even think. You see cop cars. You see caution tape. Oh, Lord. Why would you even walk into the store?
Yeah.
So the cop comes back to me and goes, you're released, you can go. So the detective will be going to hear from you. Most likely, they're going to probably call you tonight. They said to me, or actually, they probably show up to your house. You live right there, he goes.
Mm-hmm.
So just expect somebody reach out to you. Yeah, no problem. Come in. The first person I called after that, I called 3 people. I called one of my friends. Because I was supposed to call her earlier tonight, just make sure, I text her, like, are you okay? Because I didn't know what's going on. And she lives in town. Like, she goes, I'm good. I'm with my kids. What's going on? I explained to her, like, we're good. I went to her, do me a favor, just lock the doors. Don't go out. And I knew she was safe where she was by. I was self-defense mode at this point. And when I knew, I tell them, just lock your fucking doors. Don't go out. So then I got, I call you first. And I go tell you, please correct me if I'm wrong, Paul. I looked at you. I'll talk to you on the phone. I say, I'm like, I don't know how to tell you this, but I just witnessed a murder.
You just spit it out. Yeah, exactly.
I just wonder if I can do it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I remember, please correct me if I'm wrong, Paul, because I'm trying to relapse a little bit. And you say, oh my God, what happened? Am I right in saying those words?
Yeah.
And then I went down to the story with you. Then I end up, I tell you, you might have to take over the show because I don't know if my head's right.
Exactly, right, because you were still kind of interfacing with the police or whatnot. You weren't sure if how long you'd be calling it, speaking to them or whatnot. So I said, look, I got the show and I'll run it, and we just went in and dealt with the content. I think you joined us a little bit later on, but so yeah. So I just took on the show as
the show correctly, but I wasn't there. I was like in zombie land.
Yeah.
Because every time I close my eyes, well, even like sitting here, just talking to you, doing the content, like laughing, trying to laugh, I couldn't laugh at all. And I was just every time I hear it, like when I zoned out, I hear bang, 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 bang. I keep hearing a gunshot going off and off. So then after I called David, give him a heads up. He goes, dude, you're lucky not in New York. I'm like, this happens all the time. He goes to me. He goes, but we got you. You go. We started the show. And in the meantime, as I'm doing the show, because I have a 49-inch and 2 monitors right here. So on this monitor, I usually have. Well, actually, I'm lying to you. On this monitor, this side part of the monitor is a show. This part is my notes. This one usually is Facebook, and this one's YouTube. Make sure we don't crash anything. My coworker Kathy texts some message. Did you hear what happened to the kid yet? I go, no. What happened? He died. In ER. I went, you gotta be fucking kidding me, man. Then she goes, man, he was 17. I thought at the point, I didn't know the kid who shot him was 25 years old. 20 fucking years old, shot a 17-year-old.
Well, did they apprehend the assailants?
Yeah, I'm gonna get to the point.
Okay.
But when I heard this, the kid got shot. I thought it was a little gang stupid shit related kind of thing. People shooting each other up, stupid shit. You know what I'm saying? And but it went too far with the gun. Way too far. My views on guns have not changed. I still think they're could be great in the right, responsible hands.
Sure.
That night shows gun laws don't work. I said it when we did the gun show, remember?
Yeah.
And I still stick behind my statement more than ever.
Mhm.
Gun laws don't work. Now, was this an illegal gun or actual gun? I don't know. That I cannot answer because I don't know. So, as you know, she sends me an article. Somebody already posted an article on Facebook, like local news, like a little Facebook news thing, and they identified him as a 17-year-old male.
Mhm.
Okay, they identified him. He went to Lehigh Valley, Pocono, my old hospital I used to work at. Okay, so I know that so far. That's all I know. Now, we went through the show. I barely went through the show, if you remember. Out of my head, I was limping through it. I
Yeah.
like David Dumos. So I was just like,
Yeah, like I said, we had you if you needed us.
Yeah.
Go, because we were sure you how long you'll be able to stay on.
Yeah. So after the show, I bullshitted with you guys a little bit, like we always do. Then I got off, and I usually go outside, walk out like one more time, but I didn't want to go outside.
Mhm.
I was actually scared, to be honest with you. And it's, as a man, you don't want to say that loud. You never want to say you should be scared to go out in your own home, in my own neighborhood.
Yeah.
Alex's route is not big. It's literally down to the block, straight down, probably like maybe 2 blocks straight to the office, loop around, come back down. That's his route. Every day, every morning, every night. So I didn't want to do that. I checked the doors twice. I checked the freaking windows check, everything. But I still didn't feel comfortable going in my bedroom. What am I going to do if these people show up and start shooting me up?
Mhm.
So now I'm looking around. What can I put next to my bed? Because my mother is going to be the first one who's going to scream help because she's downstairs right next to the door.
Mhm.
So, me being me, I grabbed 2 weapons originally. The first one I grabbed was a machete. I go check it, sharpen it, make sure it's nice and sharp because I have my own steel.
Mhm.
Done. I looked at the second thing. I go, what? I need something else. This is not going to be enough just in case I need a backup weapon. I go, sword, takana. Can't sharpen that, but it will at least break somebody's fucking jaw. It's hard enough because it's just a display piece. This is going to break it no matter what.
Mhm.
I go, this is not going to work either. So I'm looking around in my closet. I have weapons from martial arts. It was one weapon a buddy of mine gave me. He was from the service. He gave me a tomahawk. And I don't know if it's actual from the service. He just bought it for me. It's a real tomahawk, sharp as fuck. I go, as both ends, sharp and a pointy end. I go, I'm holding it like, I can got one side, I got 2 sides. This motherfucker is not coming down here. This is like Home Alone bullshit I'm going through.
Mhm.
I'm like, if you're coming through my house, you're fucking dying. Simple as that. And I said to myself.
Right. Now, question: you are a registered gun owner, correct?
No, I was. I don't want any gun rights.
Oh, you don't? Okay. For some reason, I thought you owned a firearm.
No, I don't. The only reason I don't own a firearm is, to be very frank, is because of what happened to me and my ex. I'm still in the process of clearing that up with the courts and stuff like that. But that costs money, so it's a lot of that.
Right.
So if I had a firearm, I thought about that. That's a very good question. Is what would be the outcome? And I actually, CQ was checking up on me pretty often at that time. So, and the first night we spoke, he goes, dude, that is fucking some crazy shit. A few days later, he calls me. It was on a Wednesday. He goes, I called him. Then he called me back. And he goes, I have to check on how you do. Like, honestly, how you holding up, bro? Don't worry about me right now. And I won't get into more in detail on that conversation in a minute. But one thing I said to him, I want to point out, like, it can't cross my mind. What if I had my firearm that day? Could the outcome be different? And he said, you cannot live what if or what is.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you had a firearm, this could have been even worse right now. Mm-hmm. It could be more lives lost.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could have got yourself in a situation you couldn't get yourself out. You could have been behind bars right now, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I thought about like he's actually right. So I went to bed that day, kind of, because I was tossing and turning. Because every time I close my eyes, I'm hearing a gunshot, boom, and I'm jumping up like, holy shit, in sweat. Like I had to change my sheets 3 times that night because how much sweat I was doing. I
Yeah,
had
yeah,
never dealt with that before.
yeah. It's
Like,
traumatic.
I'm sorry.
It's traumatic. I mean, it's
Really?
yeah,
Like you don't expect to walk, go across the street from maybe go down the street. Except, yeah, I'm not feeling trying the car. You go down the street, and next thing you know, you tell your wife, "I just witnessed a murder." You don't expect that. That's a normal, everyday thing.
no.
Go down to the store and buy something. So I go into work next day, and the whole time I'm thinking about like, what could I have done different? What could I prevent of saving somebody's life? As a martial artist, I was trained and do all this stuff, but I was not trained to react on a gunshot.
Mm.
I was never trained. I was trained to somebody put a gun on me, what I can do. As my instructor used to say, the best thing, just give them what they want. Money's replacement is replaceable.
Mm.
But if you need to defend yourself, he's showing me a couple of techniques, but these are not proofed either because anything can happen in that situation. So going through my day, now my coworkers, now that hit the news right at this point. So everybody's seen it. Like they asked me, like, "You, Pete, this is where you live, right?" Like I was actually there. They're looking at me like, "Oh, okay." But in the meantime, nobody knew. I already spoke to one of my managers. I go, "Yo," she was in the office. Like, "Hey, you got a second?" She goes, "Yeah, what's up, Pete?" And I'm like, "Can I close the door?" "Yeah." I explained to her what happened. So first thing she said, "What do you need? Do you need time off?" And I just started this job. I go to her, "I don't need time off. I just need to keep myself busy." So that's not a problem. I'm doing my work, doing everybody's asking questions now. I'm like, really don't want to answer these questions. I didn't feel comfortable talking about it, and I didn't want to talk about it. But I answered what I felt comfortable at least.
Mhm.
So about 2-3 hours in my shifts, somebody dropped something, a pan, a regular pan that people drop pans all the time in the kitchens. I hear boom, and I'm like, oh, another pan. Oh, pick it up, go clean it. It's simple, not a big deal. This is the first time somebody dropped a pan, and I took I literally
You reacted,
up
yeah,
and took cover behind a wall.
yeah.
And one supervisor, she goes to me, she's one supervisor, she goes to me, "You're okay?" And I looked around like, no. And they one of the managers know I used to smoke. She gives me goes, "Take a cigarette. I know you don't smoke. Go outside and smoke. It will calm you down." And she's right. She did. So as I'm smoking my cigarette, my phone goes off. It says East Stroudsburg. I go, I bet you that's the cop. I answered it was one senior detective.
Mhm.
She's asked for my name, obviously, yeah. She goes, "I know you went through a traumatic experience. Can you just, I know it's hard. Can you kind of tell me what happened to see if we need to bring you in to interview a little more details?" I go to her. I love to do that. I'm afraid that I would like to do that, but no problem. I'm at work right now. And she asked me, "Do you work locally?" "No, I work in, 40 minutes away. Bethlehem area." She goes, "Okay. She says, call me tomorrow or your early convenience. Not a problem." So I didn't have paper, so I just took my pen on we have pens on the side pockets as
Mhm.
chefs. So I took my
Mhm.
pen and just wrote it on my hand, and I copied it on there.
Mhm.
So I went on break, and I had time, so I went outside and called her.
Mhm.
And so I have to get I couldn't remember her name. We just trying to figure out who the detective was. She finally got me on the phone. She goes, "Thank you for calling me back. I'll make this brief. I got a couple questions. Just tell me what you saw." I explained to her the whole story. And I told her I did see some faces. She goes, "That is perfect." She goes, I'm going, "It's not perfect. I rephrase that. It's good. I'm sorry. I know it's dramatic. I didn't mean like that." She got excited because she had witnesses who saw the faces.
Mhm.
She goes, "This is on a Sunday now, around 3:00. So she goes to me, "When is your earliest convenience you can come into the precinct to be interviewed?" I said, "I'm off tomorrow." She goes, "I think we scheduled a 3:00 appointment, 4:00, something like that." She goes, "That's perfect. I'm in the office all day. Me or more of my other detectives are going to interview you." I get there, first I walked in there. I just needed a minute. So maybe me. I smoked a cigarette. So because of how stressed I was,
Sure.
because I didn't expect I'm going to be in a room being interviewed. I don't know what
Right.
I'm expecting. I'm going to be
Right.
interviewed with like bad cop, good cop, kind of like one cop here, one cop behind me, kind of like per. I don't know why.
Yeah, sometimes you can be in that situation and almost make you look. Am I the suspect? Or am I the...
Yeah, I didn't know what I'm walking into. So I get there.
Yeah, right.
One cop is up there. You know, questions about me. He goes, you can go talk. I'm not busy. He goes, oh, okay. I tell her, I'm so and so. I can't remember her name. I'm here to be interviewed for that murder. Blah blah. She goes, give me a second. You can take a seat. They'll be right out. Like I opens the door. He looks at me. I look at him. He looks at me. I look at him. Like he goes, you coming or what? I go, oh, are you here for me? He goes, yeah. You're Pete, right? Oh, yeah. Come on. He goes, like he acted like I knew this motherfucker. I'm like, dude, I don't know who you Adam from Eve. I just know, no offense, Paul, he's a short white bald guy. That's all I know.
Right.
One of your brothers, pretty much.
Right.
So, and the only thing I was like, he had a gun on here. He's like,
Mhm.
I'm like, man, if I had a fucking run, you're not fucking catching my fucking ass. I'm thinking to myself.
Wow.
He goes through one room, check. Goes through holes, check, like, this is a security check. You're not in trouble. Don't worry. Just relax, kid. I goes, he said, like, do you mind being recorded in a camera? He goes, I don't have a problem. I haven't done nothing wrong. Why would I care? He goes, here, the microphones are here. The cameras are here. Like, take a seat and relax. So I took my jacket off, try to be as comfortable as possible so I can relax a little bit. So as I'm speaking to him, he's asking me all these questions now.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even remember half the fucking question he asked me. I was in there for like 3 to 4 hours.
Wow.
So he asked me for names, people that I know was there. He didn't catch. This is the person. Some of them I had on Facebook. I saw, can information here? Here's a person. Here's the other one. Here's another one. I'm like, I was half times I was on my phone.
Mm-hmm. I'm
going back and forth with him. So he goes, finally, after like 3 to 4 hours, he goes, he's a little close up. I think I have enough information now. Let me walk you out. They step to my office for a second. Let me grab your business card. Give me any more information, just grab it. I'll go ask them at that point. Like, now, can I talk about it or not talk about it? Newspapers all over my fucking front yard here. I'm like, I need to know what the hell is going on. He goes, I prefer you not to, but I cannot stop you to talk about it. You're in your free will to talk about anything you want.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have nothing to keep. I can't tell you not to by law, he goes.
Mm-hmm.
That's your First Amendment right. I went, okay. I avoided talking to everybody. So I went, I'm seeing these, like, now they post a little memorial thing, right? Not where it happened because the cannabis is not a store. But if you remember when you pulled up, it was a tree in my parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
2 trees, one on the left and right. On the right was Wild West side. They did a little memorial thing there. I'm seeing people candles, people crying. I'm like, this is the last fucking thing I want to see right now, man.
Mm-hmm.
I drive through that. It's only one way in my development and it's one way out.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing this every fucking day. So I'm seeing this in news. So as I left the cop goes to me. He goes, we're going to have him under custody by the end of the day. He goes, all right. Tuesday or Wednesday, I can't remember which day it was. It hits the news. They got the guy. But here's where I think they're hiding a little more information than they're saying. They're saying on the news, and I actually can bring up the article in a minute. I'll put it in the chat for everybody. Is they're saying he surrendered himself in. I'm going to push back and disagree on that personally.
Mm-hmm.
Because from what I was told from the cop that night, I don't think he surrendered himself. I think he actually got arrested, and they're just saying that.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're saying it was not a gang-related incident. I'm going to disagree with that too.
Mm-hmm.
Because 2 against 9, I'm not stupid. I've been around New York long enough. You've been around New York too. When you hear 2 against 9, what would you think first thing, Paul?
Well, I think legally, when you talk about gangs, I mean, there's you can use the term loosely, or it could be a lot more organized. Like you got Crips, you got Bloods, you got that kind of, so there is that sort of organized type of gang, but then you do have guys in the neighborhood. You know what I mean? It's not a gang officially. I mean, I think one is more associated with more like organized crime, like, okay, we intend to do illicit things, and some is just, it's like a pack mentality where you get some guys together and you guys may be down for whatever goes down. Oh, if one goes against us, we go, all of us going to jump them. I mean, I grew up in environments like that where we almost had kind of like a pack or a code. It's like, look, if someone comes after us, then we all jump in. So if we weren't a gang, certainly maybe like in a legal sense that way, but we definitely kind of had, look, I got your back, or we got to protect each other because of where we were. But when you talk about gangs, though, when you talk about like kind of RICO type of stuff, I don't know if that kind of activity would classify what these guys might have been doing. But I have seen where you've had packs of men, and in some instances even some women who kind of have like a pack mentality when it comes to that. So I think that might be more like, especially in the area that you're in, unless the police can tell you, like, is there gang related activity in the area where these guys are getting together and conspiring for thefts, for violence, for whatever it is. I think the former is probably more likely, that just a group of guys who kind of form their own little clique and they just go around, and anybody who screws with us, then then it goes down.
And I do understand what you're saying, and I do understand they can use terms. Plus, they don't want to scare people. A lot of things they don't want to do. They want to, keep it as hush as possible, because people live here. It's a community, it's an apartment complex.
Mm-hmm.
Next door is another complex, and further down is another one.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people live there. They don't want to scare people, and I get it. They want to keep it hush hush.
Mm-hmm.
But when I realized it's Sunday morning, Wawa was already open by the time I left for work. They already cleaned it up and it was open. That was fucking fast. Not even 24 hours that place was closed. Maybe 4 or 5 hours tops.
Yeah.
They reopened it as fast as possible. So that night, I looked at Wawa like, I don't really need anything, but I need to walk in there.
Mm-hmm.
So one of their managers who knows me, I have her number. We bullshit once in a while. Hey, what's going on? Nothing crazy. I met her man a couple times. Again, nothing cool. Hey, what's up? We live in the same complex, so that's why we average, say what's up kind of thing. And sometimes I text like, "Yo, make me this, and I'll be right over," kind of thing. So I walk in. She wasn't there. I kind of expected that.
Mm-hmm.
The old lady was nobody who was there that night was there.
Mm-hmm.
So what did I get that night? I don't remember what I got, to be honest with you, but I kind of walked around a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I know one of the cashiers, I went, dude, you good, man? He goes, I'm fine. He goes, you asked me, why are you asking, Pete? You never asked me. I'm good. You asked me what's going on, but you never asked me what's up. I'm like, oh, what happened last night? You ever said, it's like, you turn around, like, you were here, weren't you? I was like, yeah. He shook his head, he couldn't say anything.
Mm-hmm.
Because not even 3 feet away, the kid died. So that was a very weird feeling for me. So now, as days go by, I talked to CQ first that Sunday night.
Mm-hmm.
I'm home working. I explained to him what happened, and he goes, "It's nothing you did wrong." And I've been asking, dude, I'm like, you have training like I do. Obviously, our training is 2 different things. You have military training. I have, what's the word I'm looking for? Martial art training.
Martial arts, yeah.
Yeah, he goes, did you ever I feel like I froze in a way.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, you're comparing apple versus orange. It's not the same, dude. He goes, I was trained to have combat experience, combat training, and I have experience. If something pop off, would I probably take cover like you did? Yeah, but I'm ready to go. Whatever I find, like even a pen, I'll use a pen. He goes, whatever I have to use to protect my family, I will.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not combat. You have self-defense.
Mm-hmm.
Different things. And you can defend yourself against a gun, he goes. So I had to literally process that for a minute.
Right. I wonder, just the fact that you just said that, I'm wondering even, and I know Boss Man's in the back, and I know he's not feeling too good tonight, but maybe I can get his insight on that. Is combat experience versus self-defense from the standpoint of a soldier, a Marine, or, Army, whatever, does it transfer? Because again, it's like when you're in the military, you're going on a mission, you're going on, anything can go down anytime. There's a certain amount of readiness for that. But if you're in like a shopping center or a Wawa, something like that, and something goes off, does the same reflex kind of kick in and says, oh, I go into combat mode? Or could you be just as frozen in the situation that you're not expecting it as Pete was in this situation here? I'd be curious to know about that, or anybody who served in the military. Is it the same switch that goes on? It's like, oh, I'm in combat mode, or the fact that you're in a military environment, it kind of keeps you up on that level. I'd be very curious to know about that experience.
So
just throwing that question out
experience
there.
with that is, I'm from New York originally.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to say I grew up in the greatest fucking neighborhoods. I have not.
Mm-hmm.
But back then, they weren't that bad that you should watch your back when you're going down the street. I didn't have to worry about, I need my knife on me at all times kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't worry about, I need something on me, or I'm going down with 3 or 4 people.
Mm-hmm.
I was just aware of my surroundings.
Mm-hmm.
Now going back to those stomping grounds, oh, you bet your ass I am beyond prepared.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always like, when I say I'm crossing the street and they're like 2 blocks intersecting, I'm checking both blocks very carefully. Mm-hmm. I'm checking my back at all times. Mm-hmm. I will not, like where we went down to Astoria to get our gyros.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't have to watch my back because usually nothing ever happens down that way.
Right.
Now, if you go down further couple blocks away, that's a whole different conversation that we're having.
Mm-hmm.
I have literally got in a car with my mother or a girlfriend at a time. I lock the doors. Like, why are you locking the doors? Like, you're staying in the fucking car. Don't fucking argue with me. And I have seen things happen. Usually a stupid fist fight, nothing crazy. And I'm always having my guard up there. Now, This is not, I have my guard completely down, because that is like home away from home kind of thing for me. Well, because it's in the same parking lot. I'm like, well, it's literally right behind me right now.
Yeah.
So I didn't expect anything to pop off that night. I worked in prison. You know that.
Yeah.
As a supervisor in the kitchen.
Right.
I was always
right. There's a certain, right, depending on where you're at, there's going to be a certain level of readiness that you kind of go into that situation or into that environment with that sort of, that guards, up, so to speak.
Correct.
But I'm wondering, even for like a military person, let's say you're out of the combat zone, you're in civilian life, is it that ready where something can go off at any time? Does it just kind of snap in where, okay, boom, I'm in combat mode, and you does that training help you in that regard? Or can anybody at any given time be caught off guard in that situation? No one's expected anything to go off. It's like I said, especially if you look at I keep reiterating, if you look at the environment or the surroundings of the neighborhood, it's a normal middle class suburban area. Like nothing there would lead you to believe that something like that could kind of pop off at any time.
That is a very hard question to ask.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know how to answer that, because I don't know when it's going to pop off.
Yeah.
Because you don't expect to walk down the street and something's going to pop off. People just want to live their lives quietly. Like, it's not as cliche and corny that sounds. People don't want to live in chaos.
Mm-hmm.
But we live in the country we're living now in 2025. I think we're in chaos right now. How often do you turn your news on and you see a murder scene?
Honestly, these days I turn a lot of the news off, to be honest with you. I mean, unless people tell me stuff, like I don't actively watch a lot of, certainly not a lot of network news or what have you. I just don't fill my mind with a lot of the what's going on around me. Like I said, if stuff comes off, I got plenty of friends where I get texts all the time, or people reach out to me, hey, have you heard about this? Have you heard about that? And then I'll go back and I'll research it and I'll take a look at it. But I used to be an avid watcher of news, not 7 p.m., 8 p.m. News, and just news TV or the all the time. I was like into that, and then but it was putting me in a certain mind space to where it's like there's almost like a preoccupation with this stuff. So I kind of turned a lot of it off, and so no, I don't follow as much or know what's going on unless, again, people reach out to me directly and say, look, you need to look into this, or have you heard of this? More times than not, or if it's like I might be on YouTube, so the story kind of comes across and it's, hey, this might be interesting. I may look into it, but as far as 6 o'clock news or whatever, or 8 o'clock or a late 10 p.m. news or whatever, I've been out of it for some time now. I just don't think it's a productive use of your time to be so preoccupied, because you can go around thinking that things might be worse than they may already may be, and for those who walk around with that sense of almost paranoia to an extent. I mean, like even what you've been describing sounds often, and I'm not a psychiatrist or anything like that, so you take what I say with a grain of salt, but it's almost like, again, it's a post-traumatic, post-stress, maybe not too dissimilar from what soldiers experience in the field. They talk about the 1,000-yard stares and things like that these guys go through or whatnot, and it sounds like, from what you're describing, you might have gone through something that was very similar. The fact that something drops in the kitchen at work and you react in a way that never used to bother you before, or the night sweats that you were going through, just that from that very night, and thinking like, I need to sleep with a weapon near me or something of that nature. I mean, those are things that that's not certainly that's not a good thing. It's something that can definitely hold you down and whatnot. So that might be something where and I know you've had therapy before on other aspects of your life. Mm-hmm. That may be something where you can say, yeah, I'm good. People ask you, hey, you good? Yeah, I'm good. But it may be worth having a conversation with someone to kind of talk about this. I mean, we can talk about this here, and you can reach out to me anytime you want. We can I'll be there for you. But yeah, from what you're describing, or the sense of mind, the state of mind that you're in, this is going to linger for some time. And for those who have witnessed, and again, for anyone in the chat, has anyone ever been at a murder scene or seen something go down, or something that has affected you in a certain way that you might have had to get some sort of counseling or some help, or in that regard? So that that may be something worth sharing as well, because these are things that again, especially when you're not expecting them, you're not growing up, you're not in the hood, you're not in a war zone, and when these things go down, it makes you feel less secure. That the very neighborhood that I thought was so secure now, I may have to lock my doors, do a double check, or just do things that you wouldn't ordinarily do. And your sense of, safety that you may have had, now that's gone. And so how do you deal with that? I mean, I think that's something that for some people, you may have to be more proactive in getting some assistance there in terms of how you deal with that. I'm glad CQ was there to kind of break it down to you the way, how you reacted. It wasn't your fault. From everything you described, you probably did more than most. You certainly did more than the manager that was there. And she's and from what I understand, and they go through training on that kind of stuff. If something goes down, emergency situations, fire situations, and from what you told me, she basically panicked in the situation, and that you had to go in there and you had to make sure that people got out. You had to make sure that people were in the right place. You were there giving assistance for those who were hyperventilating. So again, you did. I think you went above and beyond in terms of how you could have reacted in that situation. And I certainly agree with your friend. I know we disagree a little bit on guns and gun laws and whatnot, but certainly I think that was a valid point that, if you did have a gun there, what could have happened? Would there have been a standoff of some kind? or more shots fired. More innocent people could have been, in the fray because you weren't expecting that to go down the way it was. So, these are things that you can go over this in your head over and over again. But again, from the way you broke it down and described it, I think if they gave you a medal or an honorary for what you did to give aid and comfort for the people who were there and make sure that everybody else was all right, then that's admirable. But here's the thing. You are maybe not quite where you need to be. And that's something that, when the stress goes down, when all the noise goes down, you got to deal with your feelings. You got to deal with your emotions. That might be something you may need to visit with someone at any point in time.
So I already took the right steps of that. So that Sunday night before we did the gray area, I contact Father Costadino. Because I already talked to Mike. I text him, and I was eating something. I don't know. My mom made me dinner that night. I couldn't remember what she made. And I text him like, Father, are you free tomorrow in chance? I need confession. He goes, you probably heard what happened by now. He goes, no, what happened, Peter? No, Panayotis. Excuse me. He calls me always Panayotis. I text him the article, like, I listen to this. He goes, can you talk right now? I'm like, I'm literally about to go on the air in a few minutes. I wanted to shower. I didn't really want to think about that right now. I did. So I told him, I can, but I really don't want to talk about it at this moment. So we made an appointment at church, and he goes, I understand what you're going through. I don't want to get too much in details with his business, but
sure.
Before he became a priest, he also witnessed a murder scene. His first year in college to become a priest in Boston, he witnessed something similar. I'm like, oh, so you understand what I'm going through? Absolutely. And one thing he told me, that part I know he won't mind me sharing. A year later, he went back to the pizzeria for two reasons. One, he was not scared, and he had God on the inside, of course. And the second one was that I have good pizza. I go, well, that's one good reason at least. So my second one was talking to Mike. I'm waiting for my insurance to kick back in, and I am going back to therapy. That's not even a question. I don't need Mike to tell me this. I don't need Father to tell me this. I know this myself. I've already looked up the signs, and I know the signs from my best friend Wolf Eye, who passed away, from Mike, from King, from Bossman, all my military friends. And I think anybody who's in the service can probably say, the question is, do I suffer from PTSD after this? The answer is yes. I don't need a fucking therapist to diagnose that shit. I can diagnose myself and tell myself, I know I do. When you have a pan drop in, you're jumping goddamn 10 feet in the air. Or somebody just grabbing your shoulder. Hey, Pete. Whoa. And jumping around the corner like you want to swing. Whoa, 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 whoa. I'm your boss. Relax. Relax. Yeah. Am I suffering for something like that? Absolutely. It's not something that you're going to forget today. I was worried I'm not going to be able to watch any of my action movies because a lot of action movies have gunshots in it. I'm glad that didn't affect me. It didn't affect my video games or anything like that. So I'm okay with that part. But it was weeks on end. I could not get that noise out of my fucking head.
Yeah.
So that Wednesday I was talking to Mike. I was going back and forth a couple of things. One thing he did say to me, he goes, you cannot sit here and say what ifs. That would drive you crazy, bro.
Yeah, for sure. That's where the paranoia kicks in. Sure.
Yeah, he goes, listen, if I sit here and say what ifs, if I was 2 inches this way or 2 inches over here or this or that when I got shot, I'll drive myself goddamn Looney Tunes shit here. And I get that. I completely get that. But it took me to get that. So the question I asked him is how he reacted. And if I reacted, so he goes, he couldn't answer that question either. And as we're talking, I go, I feel guilty. I guess you want to call it survivor's guilt in a way.
Survivor's guilt, yeah.
But I felt so fucking guilty. I survived and I couldn't do anything to save that goddamn kid's life. Maybe it's the man in me. Maybe it's the Greek in me. Maybe it's the martial arts in me. Maybe it's the way I was raised. I don't know why. But it took me till around Christmas time to not feel guilty anymore. What really? I think I was getting through.
But what do you where do you think the guilt comes from? So again, I mean, like I said, from what the way you described it, you went above and beyond anyone else who was in that situation. You were a leader. You again, you gave aid to directly to who needed it. I don't see there's anything that you could have done in the situation to make it better or to worsen it. So where do you think the guilt comes from? Guilt in what? Guilt that you think you should have, could you have saved that kid's life? I mean, where do you think that source of guilt is coming from?
I think you nailed it right there. It's like maybe I could have done more. And I had this conversation with a few people. What if I had a firearm? What if I just had my fucking knife on me? Maybe I stabbed this fucking kid in the hand. You know what I'm saying? Or even better, I'll stab the fucker in the dick. And he won't be able to shoot a fucking dick or jerk off ever again. So I don't know. And that's what part I am struggling to understand right now.
Mm-hmm.
My demons are deep right now because I don't understand where the guilt came from.
Mm-hmm.
Is it there as bad? No, it has kind of like quieted itself down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I was struggling for a while with that. When I thought I was doing a little better, I was running some errands and I was with a friend. And I see this kid hanging out there. I looked at her and I go, she looked at me. So, oh man, I feel bad for him. He's lighting those candles up. All right. Drove away, did my thing. Come back, empty the store grocery. She's still there. I go, Now my little demons are creeping up. It goes, one goes up here like, mind your business. The other one goes, go talk to him. Mind your business, talk to him. They're fighting with each other. So as I'm filling his groceries, I left the trunk open. I went to go close it. I could have closed it from the house. I didn't. I think consciously I didn't realize it. I was going to go talk to the kid no matter what. Mm-hmm. So I went to talk to the kid. I go, and kind of like the fake whistles kind of thing. Yo, kid, good? He goes, yeah, I'm fine. I'm just hanging out. Friend of yours? He goes, yeah. Best friend? Yeah. Were you there? He goes, no. He was just sitting down on the ground, just hanging out. I go, I was. He just a little sharp look like, what? Mm-hmm. I was there. And I told him he was a brave man, a brave kid. Because he did fight back. I'm not going to deny that. Mm-hmm. And he goes, one thing I want you to understand. I worked in the correction office before, like I told you, Paul. I know what happens in jails. Killing a minor, they're not going to take that lightly in upstate. Mm-hmm. He's going to get fucked up pretty bad up there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We see in movies is worse. Mm-hmm. So we started talking about it. I tried to comfort him the best I could. And I told him he's in a better place. He's with God, the whole spiel. And he used to tell me, like, he comes up here every weekend and you should hang out with him. He's in college in New York. And that was their hangout spot. Mm-hmm. Their stomping ground. Mm-hmm. He's not going to be able to look out while it's the same. And he did appreciate me talking to him. I felt like I had to do that at least. And if I couldn't do nothing else. If that makes sense.
Yeah. 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 It seems like the way you're almost coping with it now is by, I guess, helping other people. Now, that still may not be helping you with, and again, that's an admirable thing. I don't know if it's necessarily still helping you with the what you carry with you. It's almost like you're sort of almost like pacifying your sense of guilt or whatnot by reaching out and aiding other people, but you still got to get rid of whatever it is you got to get rid of. And it's great that you're lending yourself out to talk to the kids or talk to, whoever needs comforting in this situation. But your wholeness is still something that needs to be managed, and it still needs to be it still needs to be to be dealt with. That's the piece that's missing. So again, you can do all that kind of stuff, but you got to make sure Pete is all right.
And I know
you're asking, hey, you're okay, but is Pete okay?
And that's a funny thing. Like, everybody checked up on me, but never ever asked, "Are you okay?" Just exact words.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you asked me how I'm holding up and everything and I know I know it doesn't matter if it's holding up or are you okay, tomato kind of thing. But people did check up on me, like you did, CQ did, King checked up on me,
mm-hmm.
David checked up on me, even Bossman checked on me.
Mm-hmm.
All you guys checked on me. So I can't, I know I'm not okay 100% yet. I'm dealing with my own way, but I will be okay because I will go back to therapy.
Yeah.
I just needed my insurance to kick back in.
Yeah, just to kick in. In. But just to give some additional perspective on the situation, like my sister, for example, she lived in New York during 9/11, and she had moved out essentially to your area, maybe about 20 minutes away from you, and up in Washington Township, New Jersey, is about maybe 20 minutes away from you.
Okay.
She moved to your area for that very reason. Because obviously New York, it's like, hey, she lived in Lower Manhattan at the time, nice apartment overlooking the Lower Manhattan and everything, and she was just like, the traumatic effect of seeing everything that went down in the city that day. I mean, we saw it on television being in New Jersey, but she was in Lower Manhattan when a lot of that stuff went down, so she had to live with the smoke and all the things that were happening in that time. So she actually moved to near you where you're at. That's what I'm telling people, that again, the area that he lives in, again, stuff like this is not supposed to happen. She lived essentially in your neck of the woods for that very sense that she wanted comfort and safety, because she did not feel safe living in New York City, living in Lower Manhattan at that particular time. So I just find it interesting that how I think the fact that it happened near you, I think if you were in New York, let's say if you were in a Wawa in New York City and that happened, I don't know if it would be affecting you in the same sense that it is now, because again, it's almost as if someone broke into your home. And again, I don't know, from someone, again in the chat, if you've ever had that experience of someone breaking into your place. Can you get to a point to say, look, you know what, I can't live here anymore, even though they apprehended whoever it was that got apprehended, even though everything was settled the way it was, the fact that your space, your territory has essentially been violated, and you feel that I still have to, in terms of you trying to cope with the situation, this no longer feels like a protected place, and therefore I have to move away from this sort of environment. I'd be certainly curious to know if there have been individuals who felt that sense that it doesn't necessarily have to be your home broken in, but again, if it happened on your block, in your neighborhood, in your church, because there's been church violence, certainly, as we all know, in synagogues and whatnot throughout time, and you just feel that sense of what I took for granted as being a safe place for me is no longer safe anymore. And so people oftentimes remove themselves to that situation. So just as a follow-up to that, do you think, or do you feel that at some point, did you ever think about in recent times possibly moving to another spot? If you might have been thinking that already at some point, but I'm just saying, but has that crossed your mind that, hey, I no longer feel safe in my neighborhood, and therefore, it might be best for us that, from me and my mom, that we find a place elsewhere? Has that ever creeped up in your mind?
Actually, it has. I've been thinking about it for a while. I want to move out of here because I want a little bigger place, because two-bedroom apartment to my mom, it's a little too much. We want like a mother-daughter house.
Mm-hmm.
She has her spot. I have my own spot.
Right.
But now I'm more serious than ever because of this. I still don't feel completely safe here, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still, watch my back. I'll give you a great example. I was walking Alex one night. The guy was asking me what kind of breed the dog is. For any question, nothing crazy.
Mhm.
And I reacted like he was going to steal my dog. I was like,
Mhm.
the question like a normal person.
Wow.
Like back here is just, what he's trying to do? Take my fucking dog? He's going to shoot me? What the fuck is he going to do?
Yeah.
Like, and for a while, I used to just carry my knife just for work because this is my work knife. That's why it's on my desk. This is where I leave my stuff.
Mhm.
And now for a while I was carrying this everywhere I go. If it was this one, another one, because I have a couple of them.
Mhm.
I never carried my knife to walk Alex down the street. Never. And that's me in my community. Never.
Mhm.
And now I'm walking, like, great example. 2-3 weeks later, I was going to church. A normal Sunday. Crazy. I was supposed to meet up with a friend later, and I tell him, like, listen, I can't. I'm running a little late. I can't really talk right now. What's up? He says, why are you running late? You're like, are you going somewhere? Like, yeah, I'm going to church, but I can't find my weapon. What weapon? You're going to church. My knife.
Yeah.
Why do you need a knife at church? He goes, do you remember what happened right in front of my house? He goes, okay, but you're going to church. And they couldn't connect the dots because they don't understand what happened.
Right.
They know what happened. They don't understand what goes on here right now. So what something probably happened in church is very unlikely. But can it happen?
Sure.
Yeah. And a couple of days later, I kind of realized, okay, I need to chill where I bring my knife, because if I get caught with this, I can tell me it's a work knife, and I get okay, fine, whatever, is in the back seat. But
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. I don't know what the laws in PA are. I think Jersey is actually a little bit stricter when it comes. Can someone just walk around with a knife like that, unless it's like a utility blade or something? Sure, but if it's like a knife, I don't. I need to look up the laws locally here, but that's not always cool in certain jurisdictions.
So Pennsylvania law says, and I think this is most states too, your knife should be at least 4 finger length. That's a little bit more than 4 finger length.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but I keep this in my bag, my work bag, with my personal chef knives, my gear, my thermometers. So, I've been pulled over and they check myself, and I told them, I have this knife back there. I have admitted I have it. And they say, go, okay, it's with my chef knives. And that's why do you need this knife with your chef knives? Like, I use this break down boxes, to be honest with you guys. And I go, okay. They see I'm in a chef uniform, chef knives, chef hat, thermometers, steels. It goes, yeah, I guess you're a chef. They were just breaking my balls. Like, I guess you're a chef, are you? Are you a chef? I go, no, I'm wearing a fucking chef uniform just for kicks and giggles. I'm already Halloween person for myself. Yeah. So they don't have never broke my balls about that, because as long as you're honest, they don't really gonna break your balls. But except work, I have never had to carry a knife before. The only time I ever carried a knife besides work was when I used to go to a gun range to crack a box open or something. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But never for every day. So I realized I need to chill with that. So I started just putting it in my bag and keep it in my gear. Now, I'm realizing in time, it doesn't matter what I say, who I talk to, or whatever, I do need help.
Mm-hmm.
It's like an addict. If you don't walk through the door and ask for help, you're not going to get the help.
Right.
At least I can admit I need help right now.
Mm-hmm.
Some people understand mental health. Some people don't. So if you don't understand it, that's I can understand that part. But understand one thing: if somebody asks for help for mental health, show them the right door.
Mm-hmm.
So a week later, I was talking to Bossman after the show.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to him a little bit before, and you jumped in and you asked me how I was doing. But we had a long conversation with him. But he said one thing to me: I'm very comfortable sharing, and I think he wouldn't care either. I talked about that knot.
Mm-hmm.
He broke it down for me. He goes, "That's your fight to flight reflex."
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I went, "Oh, so that's normal?" He goes, "Yeah, that's completely normal." I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I've never been in a combat situation to worry about
And he because I was asking him some questions in the back chat, and he said that training, that switch does go on, like it's ingrained in the soldier. So certainly to be able to recognize, I guess, those senses, those sensations, and whatnot. So yeah, but this is definitely something that he would certainly have some familiarity with, especially he was a Marine. So those guys are like amongst the front line before other forces come in. So so there's a certain mentality there. Yeah.
And I go, oh, now that makes sense to me. Before it didn't. But again, I never been through that situation to understand that. I've been on stressful situations. Okay, she's about to pop off. It's going to be a fucking fight.
Mm-hmm.
That never happened. Because you know how kids are, most of them are bark, 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 bark,
mm-hmm.
but they don't bite.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But most of my hand-to-hand combat situations are been in a controlled environment. Like
exactly. Yeah.
I have never been having a situation. The closest thing it has come to me to be in like almost a hand-to-hand combat, and I'm not even supposed to put my hands on them when I was in corrections. So when I was going through my corrections training, the white coat, that's what we call the lieutenants who are managers, we'll call them white coats.
Mm-hmm.
The white coats, the white coat was training me. He said, he was a really nice guy, cool as shit. He was upset when I left. He goes to me, technically, by law and by protocol of correctional facilities, I'm supposed to tell you you don't put hands on any inmates. But if somebody puts hands on you, you have the right to defend yourself. No any means necessary. There were times inmates got in my fucking face
mm-hmm.
because they didn't like me or whatever. Most of my inmates were pretty cool with me. Like I told them, listen, don't steal from me. I'll let you eat whatever you fucking want, and you do your fucking job. Very simple. It's a win-win for everybody. Just ask for it. You're not stealing. So there were a couple of situations like I had this kid. Oh man, we called him Mr. Clean. I don't know what the fuck was he thinking. He stole sausage out of my fucking walk-in. But not any kind of sausage, rope sausage. So they scan their bodies. When you see a wiener this fucking big, you're not that fucking big, my man. And you're only 5'2". You're got fucking caught. You're not packing that fucking big.
Not packing.
So when I get the fucking phone call the next day and my boss ripped me a new one, like, white people stealing shit off my walk-in, like, first of all, fuck you. Second of all, you're racist. And third of all, what the fuck are you talking about? She explains to me, I started laughing. I'm like, well, at least we know he's not packing big shit anymore. So, and why you're getting scanned. You think when they scan you and you see a big wiener this big and a guy that is only 5 foot, he probably has something. Yeah, you're not going through that.
My gosh.
So, but there were some in like one or two situations, like if I want to change a job assignment, I'm going to change a job assignment. That is my kitchen at the time. So tough luck. Some of them didn't like it. They got in my fucking face. Oh, I stood my ground. I fucking stood my fucking ground. I looked at them like, go ahead, touch me. They know they touch me. I have another charge on their hands. I'm like, I'm not saying they get treated well from the COs. Some of those COs are fucking piece of motherfuckers. I call them fucking gay boy cops for a reason. The reason I call them that is they think they're tough, but they're not really that tough. 10 against 1 is not a fair fight. Let's be honest here. I remember one time they're trying to get somebody out of his cell, and he's coming out. And they had a taser glove. And the guy didn't like, the CO did not like the inmate. So he just started tasing him for the hell of it. And I'm looking at him like, but he's not resisting. He's coming out of his cell, moving his stuff to a different block like you asked me, but you still tased him. Then a whole investigation opened. But what happened in the investigation? They brushed it under the table because inmate versus CO. The CO is always, 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 always going to win. It's rare when an inmate wins. Rare. So I saw things. But I never had that knot right here. To this day, I could not explain that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
It's hard to explain it.
Right.
Let me ask you a question, Paul. Have you ever been in a situation you had a knot right here?
No, not a knot. Nothing's come. I think the closest something like that's ever happened, um, that I witnessed. I remember when I was a teenager, I worked at a McDonald's, and I was outside cleaning, doing some cleaning outside the store, and literally you had this black Mercedes, came up, on this gentleman, and these guys got out. And what was the thing about it, these were all like black or African dudes, whatever. I'm not sure who they were. They were all in suits. And they beat this guy down like right in front of me. I go running into the store and saying, hey, there's, and I'm kind of screaming, hey, this guy getting beat up outside. Which later on I get a reprimand because my manager is like, well, look, you don't want to offend the customers. But I'm saying, but there's a guy, like, they're literally beating this guy to an inch of his life, like, outside. So you have to excuse me if I'm a little amped up about it. And when, so these guys, they do their beat down, get back in the car and drive off. Again, it was a black Mercedes, and all these guys were suited up, all of them. So it had hints to me as like, this is like an organized crime sort of thing, or not sure everything that went on. Came out, the guy had knots, like these big knots, all over his face, and he refused assistance from anyone. So it's like until the cops got there and talk to him about, we'll try to, but he refused everything. So it was almost like one of those guys that's like, yeah, I'd rather go down versus talking to the cops or cooperate with anybody, whatever. So I don't know. Maybe he owed the money, maybe some kind of thing. I don't know. But now I haven't had that knot because nothing's really hit close to home. The only other thing I could think of is I know when I walk my dog, I go through this park. And there'll be folks at the park. It's almost like, it's like a community park, and it's like you see the same guys there like every night. And a lot of times when I'm walking, a lot of times I might be on my phone, I might be watching video or queuing up some music that I want to hear. And one time I was there, and this guy confronts me, and he's like, look, are you a cop? Are you feds? Are you spying on us or something like that? And he was kind of getting a little bit belligerent with me. And I kind of said, look, I'm not anything. I'm just walking my dog here. I'm not, trying to fit anything. And then he kind of, tried to like pat me down like I was wired or something. It's like, don't put your hands on me. And it was like, okay, I kind of went into ready mode. Is something going to go down? Now I'm a little bit vulnerable at this point because I got my dog leash in one hand. So I'm kind of trying to protect my dog as well as I got to be ready for this guy who's in front of me. But there was a gentleman who came by, knew the guy would. I was like, nah, man, he just walks his dog here all the time. So he had to calm his friend down, and but nothing ever came up with it again. But again, every time I go to the park now, if I see the same guy there, I dab him up and everything, and say, hey, how you doing? How's that? And he got a dog himself. He got him. He's got himself a French bulldog. So we talk and everything, and so he keeps it real cool. But there was a time though where I started carrying with me, because a lot of times I'm carrying either late afternoon or the night, especially now when I take them out, it's dark. And there was a time where I would carry this. It wasn't a knife. It wasn't a, it was a piece of metal that I just found. Because, you walking your dog, you find stuff on the road or whatever. You just pick stuff up or whatever. And so there was this metal cylindrical piece that fits very nice in your hand. It's almost like a loaded, not like brass knuckles, but it's like a loaded kind of thing, and it has a nub on the end that if you strike somebody with it, you could do some serious damage to them. Mm-hmm. And it fits like perfectly in my hand. And I remember for a time I would take it with me like everywhere I went. But then it got to a point where I didn't like the feeling of thinking, and again, call me ignorant, and again, especially when you talk about, soldiers and people who've had this kind of training. I've talked to martial artist friends of mine who train for like street combat. What if someone pulls a knife on you, you do this, and all these kind of things, and just kind of living in that constant state of readiness. but I personally wasn't comfortable with it. The idea of, and again, I'm not a law of attraction guy. I don't believe in like The Secret and a lot of that metaphysical stuff. But I did feel that if I walk around with this energy, that someone's going to jump me at some point in time, that it may manifest itself somehow. And so I just stopped carrying it. So I just put it down. But it was like I would have my dog leash in my left hand, and I would have this either in my pocket or, and if my hand was in my pocket, it would be kind of on it, as if like I'm looking behind me. Because again, I thought the guy's reaction at the time was just so out of left field. I mean, people see me walking my dog through that area almost every day. It's like a route that we have. And it just kind of caught me by surprise a little bit. But again, I was ready to, go down. Like I said, I think I might have been more concerned about my dog than myself. But it put me in this mode where I was kind of like, I need to watch my back a little bit. But I didn't like it. So again, when I go out, I would rather be, look, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. If I get jumped, if I get robbed, if I get whatever it is, let it go down. But me walking around with that sense of who might be coming up on me, to me, that for me is not a productive use of mental capacity. A lot of times when I'm out, I think about other things. I think about, whatever it is. I think about my family. I think about, work. I think about, spiritual things. Or just bonding with my dog. I just think that's a more positive use of my time rather than just walking around saying it could pop off at any time. I better be ready. Again, that may not be wise. I've had people talk to me and say, hey, that's not, that might not be the smartest thing. But I'm just saying, but it helps me in terms of how I can function at my best, if that makes any sense to you.
Yeah. The one thing that really got to me, so when I saw the manager the first time after a couple of days at Wawa, she came over, gave me a big hug. She goes to me, and she texted me this too. And I told her, don't call me that. She says, thank you for saving us. You're a hero.
Mm-hmm.
I thought,
Most heroes don't want that.
I told her, don't fucking say that. I'm not a hero.
Yeah.
Then I have two people in the chat right now, Mariana and Alicia, who said that to me too through text. Because you're a hero. I'm like, you deserve a medal. Yeah. Like, I'm not a fucking hero.
I told you that. I just told you that tonight. Yeah.
It doesn't give me so the look I gave you, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's
And I don't. Honestly, I'm not a hero. I didn't do anything.
I get it. Yeah.
What did I do? I told people to get the fuck out. That's all I did. If I wasn't me, somebody else would probably done the same thing. But
the thing is, there wasn't anybody else. That's what I was saying earlier. There wasn't anybody else saying, giving the woman who was hyperventilating, you were the only one who went over there and said, teaching how to breathe, calm yourself down. You were the one who was directing traffic. Like I said, the manager of the Wawa, which they're supposed to receive some sort of training on how to handle a robbery situation, a fire situation, all those things. Again, and you can go through all of that. But can you truly be prepared when something goes off? Again, especially when you're not expecting it. The likelihood of something going off, can you truly anticipate that or just snap in? Like I said, Boss Man said, again, that kind of readiness is ingrained. And these guys are put in real world situations, combat zones, over and over and over again. In a work situation, you may get that like maybe once a year. Like we talked about that on your on the Thursday show about the sexual harassment training. Mm-hmm. You may get that once a year. That videos, you got to watch those videos. You got to take those quizzes and tests and whatnot. But again, it's not like you're going to be confronted all the time. What if someone comes up and seriously like accosts you? Is that going to be something that you could just automatically, okay, I know what to do. I remember the training video, so I got to go this, and this. You're going to be maybe like in a state of shock, like you can't believe that happened to you. And so, yeah.
I had a similar situation when I worked for Fellowship retirement home down in Whitehall. A fight broke out in the kitchen. Two brothers got into it. The brothers fight. First of all, 1, you don't fight in my kitchen. 2, you don't fight in any goddamn kitchen. And 3, you don't fight at work.
Mhm.
My three words: you're going to fight, do it off my clock.
Mhm.
So Kenny, the manager, supervisor at the night, he was talking. Next thing I know, I see a Pepsi bottle getting thrown across the air. I see bang boom. I'm hearing. I turn around. Oh, fight! From me, you see me run over there. I'm like, my fat ass has never moved faster than in that kitchen. It's a small kitchen.
Mhm.
So I move fucking fast.
Yeah.
But I'm usually moving fast because I'm cooking on fucking goddamn things. I don't want to burn anything.
Right.
But never to the point I'm gonna spread these guys before somebody's put the hair through a knife, a slicer, whatever. There's a lot of sharp and dangerous objects.
Correct.
The only thing I remember getting there and I grabbed the kid by the throat. I grabbed him and I freaking choke slammed him against the table, the prep table. I go, "You're not fucking moving." I went to him. You're choking me. Like, I don't give a fuck. You're going to chill there. Then we got the manager. We had to report. And I looked at my boss like, "Am I in trouble because I kind of choke slammed a minor?" He goes, "No, you're actually saving his fucking life. If he pushed 3-4 feet closer to the knife rack and knocked the knife rack down, imagine he's going to be it pretty much going to be Kabachi at that point."
Mm-hmm.
Like, he goes, "Are you cool? Don't worry about it." And the brothers, they're going to fight, obviously, the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Never had that situation once, but that was like a one-time incident. Like, but I'm at work. I'm always reacting. I'm always in that mind ready set.
Right.
But again, I was at Wawa.
Yeah.
Like, I hear like stories that other states at Wawa's that people got in an argument and somebody got, shot in the kneecap, but never killed. I have never seen like heard, at least I from my experience.
Yeah.
Or even a 7-Eleven.
Yeah, or stuff like in the South, I've heard several fights break out, like Waffle House. Like, if you ever been to a Waffle House in the South or whatever, I've heard plenty of stories of stuff going down. But again, that's stuff that you kind of go in, kind of knowing. You know what I mean? But again, when your space is violated, because again, that is part of your space. That's part of your environment. You drive it, you see it, you see it every day. And again, it's as if your home got broken into. That's a different reality than, again, knowing you go into, like I said, a prison situation or working in a situation where, again, things could come off based on the character of the individuals there. Again, there's a level of readiness there, but again, few things can prepare you unless you had that skill training. And I'm glad that a lot of these military guys know when to when that switch can go on, because we've even seen it with cops, right? We've even seen it with when you had the shootings in the Texas, those kids and those cops, all those cops in Uvalde were sort of outside and didn't react to the situation. You know what I mean? I mean, you have, so even some who do have certain training and whatnot. Again, you don't expect something like that to necessarily happen in a school with school age kids.
Oh no.
So not everyone's gonna just jump into action. With even those who are trained in certain ways, you would think they would have that kind of diligence to do so. But there were so many errors from the leadership perspective to just the cops themselves, even restraining some who even wanted to go in and do something, and they were sort of prohibited from doing so because you're worried about the ramifications or what if this goes off or whatever, and so some people can't react in a situation. But like I said, it can be very again unnerving. So, but yeah, I certainly I get it. The last thing a true hero, a last thing that they want to hear is that they're a hero, because they're really not. They're just you're trying to survive and trying to help those around you. And, people will oftentimes want to pedestalize you after that for just doing something that you just, that you didn't think about doing. It's not like you ran into a burning building and rescue some people. You were just in the moment. So I totally get that sense of, hey, I'm not a hero. But part of your healing is going to be, though, when you look, as you look at the situation and how you responded to it. I think you handled it the best way you could. And I think you already understand and know that going back and playing the what if scenarios and whatnot, you have no idea, because again, that guy might have had a gun, someone else might have had one. So you're talking about you're going to take out your knife and try to prevent the guy from. You don't know what the other guy's like, because you said it was 9-2. Yeah. So again, if this is like an organized quote unquote gang in an organized sense, well, then you're just going to have more bodies that could have been impacted, by this. So yeah, I think it's good that you're in a place where again you need certainly some counseling, certainly some therapy to help you through this situation, and right now it's just the logistics and getting the paperwork together and whatnot. So I think you're certainly in the proper headspace to know what that is. But you did nothing wrong, bro. I mean, it's salute to you for what you did do, and for those especially those who are impacted directly by that, they're giving you your flowers. Just say thank you, and just accept it, because they may the guilt that they may feel, the guilt that store manager may feel, that I could have done more, and I'm like tripping out and whatnot. So she's got to go and work in that location every day. What is she going through at this particular time? So again, there's a lot of people I'm sure that are going to have to do some work here to become whole and get on with their lives and be optimistic about the future.
It's funny you say that, because Wawa put out a statement saying that was an isolated incident. This is not a something you should be scared of coming to the store. You're safe at the store. Yada yada. Like, I get that's the spiel you had to put out as a company.
Mm-hmm.
Business. I get that part. I'm not arguing that. I get Wawa needs to do best, whether that's just for Wawa. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
But for us who lived and survived that,
mm-hmm.
it's not easy said and done.
Yeah, for sure. It wouldn't surprise me at some point. Either she may find at some point in time, she may find herself either having to leave, or may saying like, I might want to transfer. Is there another Wawa location that I can transfer to that's in the area that I can work at? Yeah. If it becomes too much for her. So that's a possibility.
Again, I don't want to put her business out too much, but
sure.
One thing I know, she likes to go work this way because it's walking distance. We're right behind the complex.
Right.
So, but she did change her shift. She went from second shift to third shift. She goes, at least I know at night, nobody ever comes in at night. In night, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
Mm. Oh, is there 24 hours?
Yeah, 24 hours.
Oh,
all the ones I ever been to is always 24 hours.
Oh, it's 24. Okay.
All of them are like that.
It's weird because I know a lot of locations stopped being that used to be 24 hours prior to COVID.
Okay.
A lot of them stopped doing that. They may have like later hours or whatnot, but I know a lot of stores changed their hours where they're not 24 hours anymore because of that. But
okay. But she changed her hours, and she goes to me like, I don't have to deal with this shit anymore. I don't have to deal. Because the third shift, you already deal with all the drunks coming in. I mean, second shift. The third shift, she doesn't have to worry about it because everybody's sleeping usually when she goes into work.
Right. Right.
And she does have a good point there. But she's always going to have to leave that like everybody else, behind your in your mind. Like, we play that over and over. What the hell's going on?
Yeah.
And how do you, at least for her, how do you go back to work every day?
Yeah.
How do you deal with that conscience? At least I got to drive by it only and park right behind it. At least I don't have to go in that store every day.
Yeah.
There's times I go in like almost every day, but I haven't done that in a while now.
Mm-hmm.
Probably partially because of what happened. And partially because I got tired of Wawa. I'm not going to lie to you.
Hmm.
And
hey, Wife School Podcast just stopped in tonight. Good to see you. I haven't seen you in a minute. Happy New Year to you. And they said they just cut the security out of the budget for 2025. So, yeah. So, I mean, certainly, but, you still have to go in. I think you have to go in, again, just with a positive mindset. If you start thinking so much about, oh my gosh, they cut out security and whatnot, and you hear a lot of times, like I said, that's a lot of times I don't watch a lot of news. Because again, if I'm going into a mindset thinking something can go off, and again, I'm not one of these manifest guys, secret guys or whatever, but I think, it can become an unhealthy use of space. in your mind to think about, well, what if something kind of comes off? And so, so don't try not to carry that try not to carry that burden with you, or just that constant looking over your shoulder thinking something. You gotta go on with your life. Those folks in New Orleans, I don't think certainly they were expecting something to pop off, literally, no pun intended, in that situation. But you can't just stop living your life because when when you hear these things go off, or you take your kids out of school, or you think you got to move to a location that is safer, but you take things with you. You think that getting a gun, that you will feel safer. And for me, like I said, that's one of the reasons I don't think I could ever own a gun, quite frankly, because I don't think I would feel any safer with a gun. It would always be a constant reminder that I have one. And again, me and my brother-in-law, he's a gun carrier. He went through all the trainings and whatnot. He talks about his firearm, stuff. But like I told him, like, look, I have no desire to carry a firearm. He said, well, what if something happens with your family, whatever? Well, I'll deal with it when I deal with it. But again, having said that, now the area that he lived in for a good portion of his life, yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily the best area to live in. So you can try to, the next house that you get, live in a better neighborhood, try to find an area that is safer. But even then, that doesn't protect you either. So again, you think the gun is going to be your ultimate protection. And a lot of times it's not. So yeah, so for me, as far as me and my house, yeah, that's not a reality. Now, you say I might be foolish for even saying that over the airwaves or whatever. Oh, we're gonna go to his house and we're not gonna find a firearm there.
Stalker, technically.
What's that?
Don't you have a stalker?
I don't know. I'm gonna be a more kind. I'm gonna say I have a fan. Let's just say that.
Because hey, baby, I'm big.
Yeah, so I gotta I'll be a little more mindful of that. But again, I don't check my DMs and say, oh man, this person's really scoping me out. I just take it for what it was. I had a laugh, I had a chuckle that night, and we just kind of move on with it. But you can do all these external things to try to make yourself feel safer. And at the end of the day, are you at peace when you go to bed at night? And for me, I live that. I am that. And anything else I leave up to God. So my faith certainly is certainly such that I don't worry about a lot of things. If I go tomorrow, I know where I'm going, and I know where my kids and my family is going, and things will be all right. So again, I put a lot of my solace and a lot of my comfort in my spiritual walk. That so I don't, like I said, when I was carrying that little blunt object with me, I'm like, this isn't who you are, and this isn't ultimately helping you. And it's like, I'm gripping this, but it's not a part of me. So again, I put it down, and I just like I said, I just operate differently. But for those who certainly, like I said, if you have gone through traumatic, and certainly you had Olivia, she was in here earlier. I'm sorry, Alicia. She was talking about, she had to go through a personal situation. It looked like a sort of a DM type of situation that she had to deal with. Again, horrible situation where she felt like she had to sleep with a knife under her pillow. I mean, that's a.
I know her personally, and that whole situation was rough for her for a few years.
Yeah,
I remember her talking about it. I'm like, and I did tell her it's time to get some help. That you can't do this by yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, think about it. I mean, somebody who you send is your ex. I mean, someone who you love. So again, we talking about people you don't even know. And this is someone who you love, someone you sort of committed your life to, and certainly things don't always work out, but then it gets to a level where you're feeling at threat from that very same person. So how can something go from being where, I want to spend the rest of my life with this person to where I got to sleep with a knife under my pillow because of, of the same person. I mean, so again, that's another type of trauma that that many women and we're certainly learning that even men are going through. They may not admit it, but men have to carry that kind of trauma around with them as well. So yeah, so when you're in that space where you just don't feel safe and you carry that burden with you, yeah, I mean it's people having to go in and do that work in order to alleviate themselves from that. And this is a human condition. I don't think there's the gray area, so it doesn't matter who you are, what portion of the world that you're in. Again, when you feel violated in certain ways, or you're put in situations where you're worried about your life and seeing tragedy around you and whatnot, yeah, I mean that's that's something that I don't care who you are, you're gonna need to do some things to kind of get over that. And but definitely feel for Alicia having to go through that, and certainly Pete that you're taking the proper steps to cope with what you're dealing with.
The first couple of weeks, I started doing a lot of research on non-lethal self-defense stuff I can get, and I was looking at different things, from pepper spray to tasers to trying to think, from pepper sprays and tasers to trying to remember them, gel blasters. But that, yeah, they do some damage. They can hurt you pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
But did I really want to go to that route?
Yeah.
No. Because I'm going to open a different can of worms if I do that.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I know you're allowed to carry them. You don't need any permit or anything like that. I'm not breaking any laws. I'm not hurting anybody. If I just want to keep it around the house, that's fine. But I don't want to go down that route, because I need to feel comfortable walking down the street in my neighborhood. Because in the summer, I just walk Alex in a tank top and a pair of shorts and flip flops. What, I'm gonna carry a gel gun, like an AK-47 gel gun, like fucking full magazine, as I'm walking Alex, one hand like
yeah.
It didn't happen like that.
Right.
So yeah, that's why I kind of put the plug on that one.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to go down that route either. That's another can of worms I didn't want to open.
Right. And again, at the end of the day, like I said, is whatever action that you did, is it going to give you the peace that you're looking for? And that's that's something that only you would be able to answer. But again, if you think that's not going to, if anything may exacerbate the situation, then yeah, you certainly got to think, you got to think outside the box. You got to think a little bit differently. But definitely, so as we come towards the end of the show, as you see fit and comfortable to talk about, certainly I would appreciate if you would share your therapy journey, some of the things that you're going to learn, certainly once that therapy begins and you start taking that, whatever you feel comfortable sharing, and, certainly praying, hoping and praying that you do get to that sense of that peace of mind that was, for the time being, taken away from you, that you can get that sense of comfort and security back, that self-assuredness back. But certainly I would certainly welcome the opportunity for you to share your overcoming, because I'm praying in positive that whatever you're feeling, whatever you're experiencing right now, that you will overcome this. With the proper help, with prayer, with pastor, with all the people who are pulling for you, and what you've done for people. You brought me into this space. So, certainly for what you've given, that certainly is my prayer for you, that whatever you've given, that you get back in many types of blessings, not just reciprocal blessings, but in blessings that you may not have been expecting. But your wholeness, your wellness, your mental health and wellness, that is something that I pray that, as a brother, that is restored fully to you, and that you could be even more of an inspiration to those who may be going through the same thing. So I just wanted to, tell you that, and that we're rooting for you, and anything you need from me, you know where to find me.
Right now, what we're doing is what I need help. Hear me out, talk to me, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you're there. You're one text away, one phone call away. Day and shine, rain and pour, snow. No fun intended. Coming soon.
Yeah, we may get some tomorrow.
It seems like the way I saw the graph, the satellite image, it's like it's pushing towards the ocean. Actually,
I hope so. I was saying, am I gonna have a remote day tomorrow? Or am I going in? So
yeah, lucky you. I don't have the option. I gotta go in no matter what.
Yeah,
but saying that, I'm taking this day by day.
Mm-hmm.
The weeks that I don't think about it at all, but the days that I think about it, it's still fresh.
Yeah,
it's only like a month out. Me sharing the story is part of the healing journey for me right now.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't really ready to talk about it at first, but now I am. Things happen for a reason, like they always say. Don't know why God put me in that place that day, but He put me there for a reason.
Yeah.
And it crossed my mind. Maybe I should have taken a goddamn bullet, and it should have been me, except that kid. But that wouldn't solve what we're dealing with now. So that's where I'm at with that.
Okay.
It's time, and a therapist that has a bigger balls than me to deal with my crazy ass.
We're gonna pray that God sends you the right therapist, for sure. But again, thank you certainly for this opportunity. Thank you for sharing your story, and again, for those who are interested in, kind of getting some particulars on the incident himself, he put the link to the local Fox news article on the situation. Just go back early in the chat. You can certainly follow that. So again, the person who is responsible for that person has been apprehended. Now again, the other 7 or 8 guys, I don't know what the status is with them. If they rounded everybody up or just the shooter. But certainly, again, the legal process is working its way through this. But again, for this opportunity for me to share, this and what he's going through. And so, again, for everybody who, again, I think I speak for everyone here, certainly in the chat, those who are following either on the BMU network or on the Sparta HQ network, that everyone's rooting for you, and that you get the healing and the counsel that you need, so that again that you're whole. But this is what we do on the gray area. Again, we're raw, transparent. We didn't go over what we're going to tell you. He didn't ask me what questions I'm going to ask you or whatever. It's just like, look, we're just going to go, and we're just going to have this organic conversation regarding this situation. Yeah, go ahead.
So you guys understand, me and Paul talk, 3-4 times a week, I want to say, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So last night, after my show, Operation Hangout, I go in the back shot. Let's have like a 5-minute meeting. I just want to go over the schedule for the week. What we're talking about, and I dropped him on literally, and he was confused what I was talking about originally. So I dropped him on. We're talking about the story that happened. Like, okay, but I'm not ready prepped for it. Like, prep for it? What the hell are you talking about? He was talking. I was talking about something different, and I was talking about something. So I had to reconnect.
I was my mind space was in a totally different think about a totally different situation. So we had to do a double take on that. So that was my bad.
Nah, I don't care. But where I was trying to go with is like sometimes we drop the topics literally last minute, literally maybe a few minutes before we go on air. We change the topic just like that, boom.
Yeah, and
that's what keeps it so. Why we are the gray area, the best show on YouTube, the best show on BMU, and the best one in Spartan HQ, and the best show ever produced on any kind of TV platform, screening, replay, whatever you want to call it. This is the best show. Period.
Yeah, I receive it.
I can't just by myself without Paul, and vice versa. But this is raw, like raw as can get. We don't have no script. I have nothing. You see what I have.
Yep.
Like I have stuff going in the background, but it's nothing there really. Boss man is running it back there, probably chasing a little boss baby around at the same time and trying to recover from his cough when he doesn't want to go see a doctor. And I'll be driving up there and putting my foot up his ass. He doesn't go to a doctor by tomorrow. And that is a threat, by the way, boss man. So you know, on air and everything. But it's raw. That's why this is the gray area, as always.
That's right.
We are the gray area.
That's right. That's right. So again, want to thank you guys once again for being with us on this Sunday. So whether it be this is the end of your week or the beginning of your week, we appreciate you guys for being here. Thank you for the chat. Thank you guys being around and hopefully give you some perspective what to think about. But again, my big takeaway is, again, you can do all the external work to make yourself feel better about a situation, but it's the internal work that ultimately that matters. And so for anybody who's had to deal with that or is dealing or overcome that, or if you have overcome that, don't be afraid to share your story and your witness with people who maybe be able to benefit from that which you carry. But, you know, certainly it's been our pleasure to be with you this evening. Thank you, BMU, for giving us this platform that we can do this. Thank you, Boss Man, for everything that you do. Get well soon. Because you definitely didn't sound too good at the beginning of the show. So, but definitely get well soon and get the help that you need. Stop being so that stubborn Marine. Get the help that you need and get better soon for those who are around you. But for everybody, Wife School, thank you for stopping through here tonight. Stacey UB79, thank you for stopping through tonight as well. And for all the folks, again, looking forward to some great shows. I don't want to necessarily give away the bag now. You'll just be able to see the as we plan the shows. You know, you'll see the banners for the shows where we got some big interviews coming up, and so we're just excited for what we're going to be doing in 2025. So again, for myself, I'm Mr. Bennett, and he is
This is Sparta!
the Ghost of Sparta, aka Peter, aka Patiotis. This is the gray area. You guys have a great week. Be safe. All right. Be whole. You guys take care. God bless. We'll see you next time.
All right, guys, another one in the books. Another great episode on the Black Man Unfiltered Network. Listen, we're doing the thing over here. So, guys, do me a favor. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the share button. Also, if you want to donate to the channel, which helps the channel, hit your boy Cash App. It's scrolling right here, right there, at the bottom of the screen. And support the channel. But we're happy that you're here, and we look forward to seeing you on every episode. So hit the notification button so you know when we go live. Thank you again, guys, for watching. We out.